So, hello everyone, I'm super happy to be here today. Welcome to this lightning call Mob and Extreme Programming Junior Web Developer Feedback Experience. My name is Marjorie and I started to work as a professional risk management advisor for agricultural sectors, and I worked at it for 6 years with several missions of product owner too. I became a web developer 1 year ago following a professional reconversion, and I took my first position last summer when I joined my team in Comet. To tell you a few words about it, Comet is a company that offers to organize meetings and professional events in Paris, but also in Brussels and more recently in Madrid. Our venues are really original, colorful, and ideal to collaborate as a team. You can have an overview on this slide. Our team is made of 10 people, one of our co-founders, which represent the business part, 3 people on the product side, and 6 web developers, and that includes our CTO. Our goal is to manage all the website application and all the in-house, application. Our particularity is that in the creation of the team, we are working following extreme programming practice, and we are mobbing every day and all day long. Extreme programming, at the beginning, it's a book written by Ken Beck, which you can see here on the picture, and which was written in 1999. You might be thinking, 1999, it's a long time ago, and I agree, it's more than 20 years, but it's still really contemporary and really modern today. The book brings together a set of principles and practice, and some of them are completely mainstream today, such as the idea of iteration or baby step or user stories. And some of them are, integrated into a various degree in the daily life of the team. So in this talk, I'm not going to give you an overview of all the practice and all the principles you could find in the book, but I'm going to focus on the one that I think are the most important, or I think I could say have had the most impact as a junior developers. So here we go. I don't know if some of you had noticed, but in the previous slide, there was the idea of single code base. In our team, it's really simple. We use only one monorepo for all of our application, and we don't do any branches at all. To share an anecdote on it, 1 month ago, I have to create a branch, and I have to Google it, because I never do that before. Monorepo is a huge advantage when you are a junior because everything is centralized at the same place and you don't have to look around, so it's easier to navigate into the code. We also use hexagonal architecture, and I think it's really resourceful when you are a junior because you understand the pattern, so you know where you are. Okay, I'm in the database part, or here I'm in the IOC, and so on. For the production release, we use a feature toggle or feature flag system, which allows us to deliver in due time all of our features to the users. And at the same time, we monitor all of our apps in production because the idea behind is to facilitate to maximum the delivery in order to tend towards continuous delivery, and this is also an extreme programming practice. At the beginning, I had 2 major issues, a complexity bias and an imposter syndrome. It was hard for me to do the simplest things that could possibly work. It's the reason why I really want to talk about test-driven development, or better known as TDD. So why is it interesting when you are a junior? First of all, it allows you to structure and frame the subject and the problem, and is not really obvious when you are a junior. It also allows you to segment a big complex problem into a set of sub-problems that are easier to solve. And so naturally, it will improve the quality of your code. When I start by writing a red text, we'll turn green. We will turn green once the implementation and finish. It's also a good support to share with my team. I explain myself. I I understood the problem like this, so I wrote it down this way or that way, so we can share it and iterate until we have a test that corresponds exactly to what we want to implement into the code. This is also may sound counterintuitive for you, but for me, tests are really a living documentation. When I navigate into the code, I always read tests first. They give you a lot of, different cases that have been covered, indication on the shows that have been made previously, and they are really resourceful. And then, when you will leave in the evening and come back the next morning with a retest, it's easier for everyone because we know where we have stopped. In parallel and in continuity of TDD, there is a refactoring. And when you are a junior, it's a scary part. I can tell you about that. But TDD allows you to really do it in much more serene and confident way. For those reasons, I really like TDD. Extreme programming promotes pair programming. Pair programming is a concept of coding with two people. So in the team, we took this practice and we go a step further by practicing every day and all day long mob programming or mobbing or mob. So who in this room has already coded in pair? Please raise your hand. Don't be shy. Wow, that's a lot. And who has ever practiced mob? Wow, that's a lot too. So for those who have not practiced, or maybe a long time ago, I propose you a short reminder. When you are mobbing, you will wear a hat that represents our role, and you can be either a driver, which is the one behind the keyboard, you just transcribe or write it down in the code, will be proposed by the brain around him, and those brains have the role of navigators. Of course, we rotate every 10 minutes, and we change role. And in the team, we found the size of 4 people is great, because we have a variety of profile, and we found it easier for those. But naturally, you can move from 3 people to as much as you want. There is no rule on it. One important point in mob is I have an idea, I let go the keyboard. This is really, really, really important in order to make the most of the benefits and the advantage of collective intelligence. In other words, an idea must pass at least from one navigator brain to one driver brain before going into the code. The benefits of the mob are, first of all, a simplification of the code. Because when we are mobbing, we are continuously challenging each other. And the fact of having a junior like me in the team will mechanically tend toward a simplification of the code. The other advantage is the shared knowledge. We will work on all the parts of the code, and we will be able to intervene in all of them. It's a collective ownership, and again, collective ownership is also an extreme programming practice. The other important point is the challenging of the achievement between the senior and the juniors. I explain myself. As a junior, I ask a lot of questions every day. And for example, why do you write it like that? Why do you always solve this kind of problem the same way? Can you explain to me what is behind these concepts? So for senior developer, it will be really interesting because junior challenge your habits. And on the other hand, I think it's obvious, but for junior people, you will learn much faster. I talk about mobbing and I talk about pair programming. And I think both are really interesting. When you are a junior, the idea is, not choose, and I think for senior, it's the same, but it's up to you. Indeed, the pair programming is useful when you have a complex subject. You could take more time to try, fail, and to go deeper with your partners. So it's why I think it's interesting. But doing pair programming between 2 juniors, I love that. It's really interesting, and it's really me gain confidence. At the beginning, I was always surrounded by senior profile, and after a few months, I start to ask myself, will I be able to do it alone? And it was the scariest question for me. But, pair programming really helped me to calm down my fear, and yes, we are slower when you are two juniors, but yes, we can do it too. On this part, I want to highlight the following point of attention. First of all, even if it seems really material and trivial, it's important to have a dedicated workspace. We spend all of our time in the same room, behind the same screen, and with the same people, so why not to be comfortable after all? Secondly, I want to talk about the rhythm. I explain myself. The idea is neither too fast nor too slow. If it's too fast, for senior people, it will create frustration. And if it's too fast, for a junior like me, I will think quickly, for sure. So, to take the mob session as smooth as possible, in the team we decide to always take a little time at the beginning just to check if I have all the knowledge or if I need more concept explanation, and after we go into the code. Another important point is another important point that may sound counterintuitive is, as a junior, I will spend more time behind the keyboard. So the rhythm will naturally follow my speed. And it's also a good indicator, because if the idea expressed is not clear as it sounds, I will have difficulty to write it down. So it's a good indicator to just, okay, I understand, maybe explain another way, or we can try another thing. The third point is a place for everyone. This is essential if you want to have all the benefits and all the advantage of collective intelligence. For me, you have to feel comfortable. You have to feel free to express yourself, to ask you all your questions, even your stupid question, and you have to be heard. This is really important. And we all are senior or junior at different times. And it's good to remember, sometimes you are senior on one technology and on one part of the code, and in other one you are a junior. So, yeah. And the last point I want to highlight is fatigue. When you are mobbing, it's really tiring. So in the team, we are taking a break at most every hours. Being a group of developers doesn't mean we are working alone. On the contrary, we are a part of a larger team, a whole team. So we have to remain available for everyone, for our product manager, for the communication department, or, whatever. So in the team, we have set up the Batman systems. I think you already know the superhero, but it's also a person in charge of stewardship in the British Army. It's worked like this in a very practical way. Someone arrives with a question, and for the example, I will jump and wear my Batman suit, and we go together, away from the group of the mob. We will speak, we will solve this problem, and maybe we need more people to solve it or more time to do it, so it's not a problem. We will plan it later. And after, I rejoin the group of the mob, which have continued to work on the subject, so it's easier for everyone, for me, and even for them to continue to work on the same subject. You're probably wondering about production and productivity, so let's talk about it. First of all, in the team, we don't do code review. It's not necessary, because we are doing code review continuously during the mobbing. It's also a very good way to do continuous learning for everyone. We learn together, we enrich each other all the time. And finally, from a business point of view, this is also really interesting, because we will focus on one problem, on one subject that we will solve or deliver, and we will deliver it more quickly to the final users. In other words, we will limit the time of work in progress. And of course, this put towards the idea of prioritizing and optimizing what we choose to develop upstream. And for the last part of this talk, I want to talk about the value of extreme programming. They are less known than the practice and the principle, but I think they really deserve to be known. For me, there are all the richness of extreme programming. Behind the word value, you could find the idea of respect, communication, simplicity, and bravery. And without them, people don't have the psychological safety to freely express themselves. And I think, without them, you cannot build a long-term solid team. It's my point of view. Extreme programming is about social change and to put the human at the centers. And another particularly interesting value is feedback. So in the team, we want feedback all the time as much as possible in order to adapt. When we develop, our first feedback is test. If it's turned green or if it's still red. When we are mobbing, it's also feedback. And also with our whole team, with our product parts or the communication and all the commit staff, we always need feedback, and obviously with our users. So the idea is really to go as quickly as possible in order to seek feedback, to adjust and adapt. To conclude, even if mob and extreme programming are rather categorized for, I think, experience profile, on the contrary, I found they really brings a lot when you are a junior. They allow you to structure your thinking, to give you confidence in your practice, and to learn even more quickly. Feedback is central to allows you to evolve even more quickly and to adjust every day. So for those who are curious, I obviously recommend to read Ken Beck's book, Extreme Programming, Embrace the Change, and the second book, Code with the Wisdom of the Crown, which actually give you a lot of practical tips and detail on mob, and it's really a good book. And to experiment, you can start with a kata. It's a small challenge or exercise you can do on your lunch break or whenever you want. And if you have a thorny problem, I think it's also a good opportunity to, solve it together and just give it a try. Thank you all for your attention and for being here today. I'm available to answer all the questions here in the exit or on social media, and I wish you a wonderful day. Est-ce que vous avez des questions? Do you have some questions? Yes?
Is there anything that you struggled with when starting the master program? Is there anything that has held you back from doing it? Because we have some people in the company that struggle with adapting the practice. I'd like to know if you had any struggles.
Actually, I have a huge advantage. I never code in another way before, so I don't have to unlearn some things. But I speak a lot with other junior developers like me, who have previously doing another way. It's why I propose kata, because I think change is a scary part for people. So start. On a small thing, sometimes it's easier on a new project. Sometimes, and I think it's important to feel free to express if something is bother you. It is really important because sometimes people are not, confident to say what is struggle them, and after you are in your head and you're thinking about it. And so in the team, when I have a problem or everyone have a problem or is struggle with something, we always share as quick as possible in order to find a solution. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. Sometimes we switch your per programming if it's too fast for me, for example. But the idea is to say it really quickly to find a solution. There is another question? Yeah?
You mentioned that during mock programming, the junior profile sets the pace of the session. Would you have some tips for when maybe some more senior profile finding a bit frustrating that the speed is a bit slower than what they would do by themselves alone programming? You already encountered some situation. Do you have some tips?
Yeah, it's why the size of 4 is great, because when we are a much larger group, my senior colleague was more frustrated, have more frustration because they want to, be more faster than when they are with me. But I think when you have a junior in your team, it's obvious you will be, less fast than you are alone. So I think it's also a choice for a team to say, okay, I'm going to take a junior, so this is the counterpart, I think. But I think it's really important to experiment. If it's 4, it's too much. Let's go back to 3, and it's okay with 4. Maybe try 4, 5 people, and again, the idea behind is really to say, if you are frustrated and you think you lose your time, just say it, and the idea is to find a solution, and sometimes it's to split the group, or yeah. Do you have another question? Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much. Enjoy.